So what exactly is a photo story? You have a bunch of them you have to do in this class, but what exactly are they? What makes a photo story a photo story? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, and exactly what we're going to look at as an example. To start off with, let's just define the thing using words. A photo story is going to be a series of photographs that are going to work together in a very particular and specific order to tell a journalistic story of a person, a setting, or an object. So you are applying journalistic skills, just like you would write a lead or write a nut graph, just like you would get quotes or have a kicker. You're doing that, but you're doing it with photographs instead of words. So things like order and tone and structure are all going to matter. Now I think it's important to distinguish that what you're doing in this class are photo stories. They're not photo galleries. You've probably been on news sites before and seen the front page that has photo galleries like this advertised. Notice that in the upper left of each one of these, it's listed as photo gallery photos or photo gallery. Now, a photo gallery in news is where a photographer or multiple photographers will pile together the best photographs they have of a given event or a given person, etc. The order is less important than the overall quality of the shot. Now, that's not to say that in what we're doing the quality doesn't matter, but it's got more structure to it than a gallery. Think about a photo gallery, kind of like a bucket. A photographer will take a bunch of pictures of something, and they'll take the best ones they have, sometimes upwards of 50 or 100, and they'll toss them all in the bucket, so that you, the viewer, can then take the bucket and dump it out and say, oh, look at all of the wonderful photographs. What we're doing is more specific than that. We're making a photo story. So if a gallery is like a bucket, think of a photo story as like a photo album that you may buy and put pictures in, or a type of scrapbook. If you've ever put together a photo album, you know that you don't put every single photograph you've ever taken in a photo album or in a photo book. You're very selective. You pick the ones that you think are the best or the best representative of that time in your life. And the order of the pages matters too. If you were going to make a photo album of your vacation to the Grand Canyon, the first couple pages wouldn't be your trip back or you packing up to go home. It would be you packing up to go there. And then in the middle would be you actually seeing the Grand Canyon. And then at the end would be you going home from the Grand Canyon. So the order itself and how those photos interact with each other matters a good deal. And that's what we're doing in this class. So let's look at an example. And this is one of my absolute favorite examples. Now this is one of my favorites because I think it's a perfect example of what a photo story is. And its attention to what it's actually trying to accomplish as a story. Not just a collection of pictures, but a story. And I also particularly like this story as an example for students because it's not flashy. It doesn't require any travel. As a matter of fact, it was an event on campus, and it didn't require a lot of pizzazz or glamour. It was in a classroom. But just as a story, it works really well. So it was a photo story of an event on campus that was done by a Jewish student organization where they brought people in and went through a demonstration of how to make a ceremonial ram's horn that is important in the Jewish faith and culture. And so we start off we're going to look at the package of 5 photographs. And the first we have where the whole process starts. We've got them with a chunk of the ram's horn on the desk. One of the folks has a hacksaw and is hacking a big chunk of it off to use in the production of the horn. And that starts the story. I like, as just a basic setup for the composition of this photo, I like that the arms create lines down to the central focal point. I like that the hand is in motion. You get a little blur there to show action and movement. And just as details, I like that you can see that they have on gloves and that there's the chunk of horn in the background as well. So from there, if we're following this as a story, we've got this. And then the next step, we've got that same chunk of horn, but now it's over on a different part of the room, and someone is using an upside-down belt sander to file the other end of it off, to make the edges smooth and to round it out. So we're now tracking this horn through the process. I like that you can track the eyes in this shot, the eyes of the folks in the background who are out of focus, and the people on the left and right. Their eyes all track down to the action of the scene, which is the belt sander and the horn. Moving on from there, the horn has now gone from being belt sanded to here is someone using a hand drill to sort of drill out the other edge of it. So we are now tracking the horn. Notice the people have changed. The individuals in the story are changing, but the setting is the same, and we're tracking the story of the action of the horn itself. Also, I really get a kick out of the background of this shot where you've got the stuffed ram's head on the wall wearing safety goggles, because safety is important. Moving on to our fourth photograph, this is our close-up shot. We would call this a detail shot as a form of variety in our photo story. But it's that same chunk of ram's horn, the one that we saw originally hacked off of the larger chunk. We saw it getting sanded, we saw it getting drilled, and now this is a close-up detail shot of someone applying some lacquer to the outside of it. I'm guessing just to make sure it doesn't splinter. I don't know why you apply lacquer, but this is what they're doing. So this is tracking the process of it. So now that we have seen someone make the horn, from sawing it off to here, of course, how do you end this photo story? Well, you end with somebody actually trying to make some noise out of it, because that's what it's for. So we have this nice shot. I really like the juxtaposition in this shot of the fact the person who's blowing the horn is sort of facing the camera, and then the person who's trying to teach them how to do it is on a profile shot, profile to the lens itself. I think that makes for a very interesting set of lines. But for the most part, what works here is that as a story, it's got a clear set of action that follows an object, in this case the ram's horn, from beginning to end. It's not just a collection of the best photos this person took while they were at this event. It is a collection of photos that work together in a specific order to tell a story. And that's what you are looking to do in this class. And that is what a photo story is. And I look forward to seeing what you do with yours.